Okay. Hang on, let me just check if we're live.
I think we're live, yeah.
You are?
Hello.
Hey.
Hi,
Hello.
Melissa. Hello, Alvin. Good to see you. Good to see you guys.
Thank you. So, welcome
Guys.
to our first live chat broadcast.
Yes.
Today we have Melissa as well as Chris Long from Azimuth Watch Company. Welcome to the first live broadcast.
Hi, hello. Anybody there? Shout out to all the guys there. No one. Yes.
So, So Chris, just maybe would you like to introduce yourself a bit? You are the founder of Azimuth Watch Company, right?
Right. Okay. I'm Chris Long from Azimuth. So, for those of you guys who do not know who am I, okay, I'm a Singaporean. Azimuth was started in 2003 by my partner Alvin and myself. So we also set up an office in Switzerland, in Neuchâtel, Switzerland, where we have our production and design team over there as well. So it has been a long journey. So if you recall year 2000, it was really a time where it's a revolution in the watch industry. Meaning to say that in the past, if you have to realize that it's like back in the 1990s and 80s, you know, people don't really usually wear big watches. But if you were to realize at the turn of millennium 2000, that was really a start of a big trend. And if you are be aware, it's a trend of big watches. So all thanks to Panerai, they are the one that actually drove this campaign on wearing big watches. So it's really it's a gateway to new designs for watches. Because right now, year 2000, that give us a platform to have a big canvas on a wrist, to design the watches that is totally different. You are not constrained to a round shape. You are free to explore.
What would you say is the DNA of the brand actually?
Okay, the DNA. Okay, when we first started in 2003, right? We are, trust me if I say that we do not really know what we are doing. Okay, but one thing is for sure, we are guided by this principle of creativity and trying to make watches that is unique. Because we know that to survive in this market, right, you got to be different. Moreover, we are new, we are a small company. So if you were to make a Me Too product, a product that you want to challenge IWC or Patek Philippe, it's just not logical. Why do you come up with something that people have really been doing so much for many years? So our guiding principle is always to create something that is very different, something that's stirs the emotion. When you look at it, you want to wear it. You say, "Oh, okay, this is something that speaks to me, or this is something that reflects my personality." So that has always been our guiding principle to make something that is different, to make something that the consumer themselves can identify and say, "Okay, this speaks to me. I want to wear this." Okay.
Back in 2003, right, Chris, was it a good time to start a brand? I mean, it seems like everybody had a bit more money to spend at the time, a bit more adventurous with their watch choices, right?
Mhm. I think there's never a good time to start anything, right? So, well, because I myself and Alvin has been collecting watches for the past almost 20 over years before we actually started this business. So we are pretty much in tune with the vintage market. So if you look at the trends, for the longest time, people has been looking for vintage, uh, rare collectibles because it's driven by brand. It's more like brand driven rather than aesthetics driven. So it's like in the past, if you to find a vintage watch that says Patek Philippe, oh, okay, that means very good. So, and typically they are small watches. So when we enter this industry, we were saying, "Hey, guys, I think we can put something onto the table, something that's different, a different proposition." That's why we come up with a brand Azimuth, which is we used to live by this tagline, "Dare to be different." And I'm glad to say that up to today, we still live by this motto. We want to create watches that is unique, something that stirs your emotion when you look at it. This is Azimuth. Like, for example, a Roboto is from miles away. When you look at somebody wearing a Roboto, it can only be an Azimuth, not any other thing. So in that aspect, we are quite happy to say that we have achieved our objective, and we continue to build watches that is along this our core DNA.
I have a question actually. Design watches. You already said that the watches you do are actually very different from what's already available in the market. So when you design your watches, do you design with a customer in mind, or do you design what you like, what you would want to wear?
Okay, this is a very interesting question. When we first started, I think when we first started, we were young and gung ho, young and gung ho. So we have our own set of criteria, our own set of philosophy, which I think is very good. Now that I reflect back, I think this is the correct direction we have taken. So we listen to our heart. We say, okay, this is interesting. This one speaks to me. Because this one is my childhood toy or something that I've enjoyed all these years. So we want to create watches that reflects our liking, our personality, and the things that we surround ourselves with. So that's why when we first created these watches back in 2003, a lot of people didn't understand the language. So when we had our boutique in MBS, we received a lot of Chinese customers. So when they look at our watches, it's like they were like half interested but half skeptical. Because back at the moment, say, why do you create things like this that look like a toy? It's not serious. When we businessmen, when we wear these watches, doesn't convey seriousness. So back on my thinking, screw you. So what? These are my watches. You like it, you buy it. You don't like it, you don't buy it. It's as simple as that. So
So just to show you what Chris means by so-called not serious watches. So you have things like this is Mr. Roboto, right?
Yeah. These are Roboto, the first series. This is our R2, and of course we have the Bronzo as well. I think it's on top of the website. The Bronzo. This is our latest. So even though it might look like a toy, but don't be deceived. They are actually pretty complicated. So the way it's constructed is a very traditional Swiss way of making complicated watches. So while it's deceptively toyish, you call it, but there's a lot of technical development within the watch itself.
So but when you started making these watches, I mean, what were your first few watches? Did you start making them already quite crazy already?
Okay. When we first started back then, when our first production launch was in 2004. So because we came from a vintage watch collecting background, we have a love for vintage watches. So naturally, one of the first product that we created was what, if you were to recall, is the Bombardier series. So they look like pilot watches, like big pilot watches. So when we first created these watches, we created it out of passion. But we do know that these watches are not the watches that is going to bring us to the next level, or it's going to create a niche for ourselves in this very highly competitive market. Because a pilot watch, a generic pilot watch, is a round watch with a black dial with Arabic numbers. So anybody can do that. Anybody that a new kid on the block, they say, oh yeah, okay, I want to create a watch, something that is good to sell, easy for people to accept. You make a military watch, or you make a diving watch, right? So back then we already foresee these problems. It's like you will be faced with a lot of competition. You will be then there will be competing on price, and that is not something that I want. I want something that is something that people can recognize, and it's something that is when you wear it, there is a emotional attachment to it, and you cannot really find another brand that makes the same thing as you. So that has always been our guiding principle.
Chris, sorry, were you going to say something?
Sorry.
We have a question from Ronald.
Ronald, okay.
Any chance of driving the land ship.
Wow, you got the runner. I think you has this crystal ball, right? I think later on I'll share with you a little bit of what we are doing right now. So, but you asked a very good question. It's something that we are designing in the pipeline. So do check it out, 2021.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
Fred asked, talk about TBT.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
TBT?
TBT is Twin Barrel Tourbillon. So it's one of our most ambitious project. So this was conceived like I don't know 2008 or 2010. 2010. So it's by far our most expensive product. The Twin Barrel Tourbillon is a 5-day power reserve with a satellite turning system, jumping hours. So we want to create this product because during that era, everybody is talking about tourbillon. So we want to display our technical expertise by actually modifying the tourbillon, not only a traditional tourbillon, that you buy from off the shelf. So we actually modify the tourbillon to have a jumping hour system, the twin disc jumping hour system, which makes it a totally different and unique product. So this is a pretty innovative product. It's a new product proposition in the market back then. So back then, people are talking about tourbillon as a traditional tourbillon, the Brigade style tourbillon, the big cage. So we decided to add something on to it to have the Azimuth juices. So hence we have this twin barrel tourbillon.
So for a independent brand, to actually do a tourbillon is quite a big thing, it's a high level complication. How did you actually get the expertise as well as the investment to do something that's such a high level?
Okay, to procure a tourbillon movement is not that difficult. Anybody with knowledge just buy a tourbillon movement. Okay, but having said that, back then our suppliers of the tourbillon movement did assess us to see whether we are a brand worthy to carry their tourbillon or not. So initially, I remember they were having an exhibition booth in World as well. So when I approached them and said, hey, I would like to purchase your tourbillon. So he was like, okay, you want to purchase my tourbillon because you want to copy my tourbillon because he's like, I look very Asian, right? So he thought that I want to buy the tourbillon so that I can replicate the tourbillon. I said, no, come to my booth, to see what I'm doing. So first day he didn't come, second day he didn't come, third day he didn't come. The fourth day or fifth day when all the buzzword settles down, so he decided to come to my booth to take a look at my products. So when he looked at my products, he straight away he said, congratulations, I like your product, we can work together. So we said, okay, now we can work together. So previously we couldn't work together. No, he has to look at our product, what we are offering, and to see whether our brand can carry their tourbillon. So I said, okay. Then he asked me a next important question. He's like, so how many pieces do you want? So about my, I was thinking, it's like, how many pieces should I say so that he will not think that I'm joking? So I say, I think I will make a limited edition of 25 pieces. So in my mind, I still think 25. I still thought that 25 pieces was too little. No? So when you heard 25 pieces, I was like, 25 pieces, 25 pieces of tourbillon. Then I was thinking, you mean too little? So it's like, then many years later, then I realized that, I think I opened my mouth with a very big quantity. So I think in his mind, he's thinking of maybe 10, or I'm going to buy 10 or 5 to try out. But I bought 25. So yes, so we bought 25 pieces of tourbillon to create this special edition. So back to our question is like, is it difficult to procure? Is it really very at that time? Is it really only tourbillon is reserved for the big guys? Yes and no. No, that's why we decided. We do know that anybody can just buy a tourbillon and just case it with a round case and just sell it for 30,000 Swiss franc, 40,000 Swiss franc. So that's not what we wanted to do. what we wanted to do is actually to create extra, to give the perception of exclusivity, uh, a differentiated product. I have a tourbillon, you have a tourbillon, but my tourbillon is different because my tourbillon has this jumping hour satellite system. So yeah, so it took us about like maybe 2 years to actually conceive the product. So what we have is actually a watch that looks like a silhouette of a Lamborghini. So it's pretty slick.
Is
With
it
a,
on the website, Chris?
sorry.
Do you have it on the website?
Yes, I think it's under automobile. You go under automobile, you will be able to find that. You can search it over
So that means that all your collections from now onwards are going to be very, very limited, right? To maintain that exclusivity.
We always produce our watches in very small quantities. So generally, our production run for each model ranges from like 100 to 200 pieces per design, per SKU.
Right.
Okay, some of our watches are limited edition, but many of them are not. But having said that, most of our production run is very low. So yeah, you don't find many Azimuth watches around. Yeah, there you have the twin barrel tourbillon. Why is it called twin barrel? Because there are actually two barrels in the tourbillon, 5-day power reserve. And just to take note, this is a traditional Breguet style tourbillon, meaning to say that yes, that center bridge tourbillon to hold the tourbillon cage, as opposed to a flying tourbillon. The construction is a little bit different from a flying tourbillon. How the gear is being engaged is slightly different. So this is traditional Breguet tourbillon, which is if you look around the market, these are the more desirable tourbillon. I should say the tourbillon in the higher price ranges category. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a question from Arman Karim. He's asking, how do you get the inspiration to design these watches? I know previously you were saying that you were inspired by your toys when you were young, right?
Yep. I think we are careful not to get inspired from within the industry. So normally we get our inspiration from objects of desire that is outside the watch industry. Because if you keep looking into their own industry, you will end up having the same look, same appearance, right, in your product or offering. So our inspiration always comes from things that is not within the industry. It's like, for example, a robot. Okay, it's a good example. It's a king robot inspired by our toys that we love so much. So automobile industry is also a source of inspiration. So and also if you look at some of our collection, we go crazy with the space exploration theme, exploration of the unknown, the extraterrestrial, things like this. So these are the things that actually inspire us in when we create our watches.
We have a question from Wendy. Wendy asks, what are the brands that you love and that have inspired you to start your own watch brand?
Okay, shout out to Wendy. Hello, Wendy. Okay. Yes. Back then, okay, maybe I just give you a little bit about my career path. Okay, short career path. So prior to what I'm doing right now, so I was in Sincere Watch. So I was there doing watch distribution. So I was there because I love watches. Basically, that's it. I had a passion in watches. So after when I graduated from engineering, I didn't even think of what I want to do in the engineering field. So straight away, I jumped into my passion. Regardless of how much they're going to pay me, I said I'm going to be in the watch industry. So I was there, and I was there because they actually gave me a responsibility that is very interesting. It's a very interesting role. I took care of various high-end technical brands like Lange, FP Jones, Graham, things like this. So that is really the kind of engagement that I want to be in the watch industry. So during my engagement, I stumbled across a brand which many of you might not be even aware of. There's a brand called GoFile. You know GoFile. So they make luxury leather goods, and also they have this department where they gather all the independent brands, independent watchmakers. Not even they are small brands, but they are really independent watchmakers together to create a series of watches that is totally unique. It's an expression of the watchmaker's dream and aspiration to create something that is doesn't conform to the big brands, doesn't conform to the traditional design. So I was very intrigued by this brand, even though it's like this brand is like it's just a brand that is nobody really take notice of. So, and there's one particular watchmaker that I really look up to, and his name is Vianney Hotter. So among these independent guys, right, one of the first watches that was sold was the creation by Vianney Hotter. So I think he created a few. So these are immediately sold. So the other guys, I recall a brand called Frank Jutsi. Frank Jutsi, he create nice watches as well. And Bernard Landrer, I think. So these guys, the watches are still around. No, they're hanging around somewhere. But Vianney watches always get sold. So when I look at Vianney watches, I was like, wow, it's really different. It's something that is like out of this world. It's so steampunk. It's something that it's like it stirs my heart. So I know that feeling is that when I look at a creation, when I look at a product, when it gives you that certain emotion, I know, okay, this is the watch that I like. So yes, Vianney really inspires me, and he actually he's my role model. When he was in Singapore, actually, I did meet him and say, Vianney, do you know that you inspire me in all of my creations? So I say, oh yeah, congratulations, very good. So he was happy. Okay, so he he really inspires me in my earlier years creation. And one of the first creation I made, which has this very avant-garde feel, is this watch called Gauge Mecca One. I don't think it's in the website anymore because it's a very old model. So Gauge Mecca One. So we got the inspiration from machines. The industrial machine dashboard. A lot of buttons, a lot of gauges. So we are inspired by this machine panel. So we created a watch called the BMF Gauge. So that was really our start into this creation of avant-garde watches. So, all thanks
So
to
you
yeah.
so is my sound okay?
Sorry,
Is my sound okay or is it still dodgy?
your farm? I mean,
The sound.
yeah, no,
Someone
okay,
asked.
no, it's good.
Okay, so you are a Singaporean
Mm-hmm.
making in Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
and you make very unusual watches.
Right.
So, do you face any prejudice or like misconceptions? Each time you want to present your watch to a global audience.
I think back then uh, we are we are confronted with many obstacles, especially locally in Singapore, because I don't blame anyone because traditionally Swiss watch is Swiss, right? We are so ingrained with this idea that Swiss watches we are old men with that look, looking over the bench. So this image is very much ingrained in everybody's mind. So, but fast forward to 2020, in fact 2010 onwards, there's a paradigm shift. People begin to be more receptive. They are more open, and there are many brands that actually doesn't. The founders are not from Swiss, especially now. With the emergence of micro brands, it can be from US, from Singapore, from Malaysia. Everybody is trying to create something. So I think the market has reached a certain maturity. So people are more receptive to new ideas, new players in the this field. So at this very moment, I think, in fact, if you are from Singapore, you should be proud, I think, Singapore. But
Yeah, I
yes,
think
we still need that Swiss expertise, and my Swiss partner is there. They have been of great help to me, because there are many things that while we can design here, we can conceptualize in Singapore, but there are many technical aspects of the watch that we do need the expertise to create a watch. So I still believe that the Swiss traditional watchmaking expertise is here to stay, and I think Swiss watches will be here for a long, long time. So yeah, so that's our belief.
I think you also answered the question by Yong Kyong. Yong Kyong is actually he
Hi.
actually does Feynman watches, one of the micro brands that we actually like. He does very well designed watches also. So, I mean, the question about like stereotype mentality, like certain countries' watches are better than other countries' watches. So it's constantly a challenge, right? Because you see the Swiss made stamp on a watch, you think that that's of the highest standard, but obviously there are a lot of different factors at play as well.
I think we cannot deny the fact that at this very moment the best watches comes from Switzerland. Okay, so that is a fact, and from Germany as well. So not all the German brands are great, but probably there are only like a handful of them. So primarily it's the Swiss that makes excellent watches, and we have to we have to give that to them, But for Singapore, it's like for us to really make a name for ourselves in this industry is not so much about, okay, who is better, or I'm better than Swiss, or Swiss is better. What we have to put on the table is the watch that you create must speak for itself, regardless of whether is it from India, China, Singapore, Malaysia, I think that is secondary. What we need to focus really is the product offering. What are you offering? What are you putting on the table? What are you offering to the consumer that they perceive it as, they see value in it? So we have to be mindful of this, to create watches that people want, and the design that is relevant to not only to the customer's demand, but you must be true to yourself. You must be relevant to your own brand identity. Only with that, then people can say, "Oh, okay, I can identify with your watch. I want to buy your watch. Okay, I'll give you the money."
Because we are competing with,
Sorry, Melissa, I didn't get your question.
can you hear me?
Now I can.
Really not easy being a watch brand in Singapore when you have to compete with other brands in Germany, in Switzerland, and all. But I think with the current pandemic, has that obviously made your business even worse? And what are
I think this pandemic has I think we have to embrace that it's inevitable. So I think what is ahead is unknown, really. What after the lockdown, when everybody is back to our senses again, is that nobody knows how damaging this thing will be. So that's beyond our control. What we can control is really to define our brand properly, and to constant what's the product offering. So this is something that we can control. I think forget about all these forecasts by those so-called experts. Experts is always changing their goalposts. Oh, now it's 4%, GDP down, and the next moment is 1%. Oh, who knows? 3 months later, they say, oh, this thing is going to turn out better than expected, so we are okay. So nobody knows. So, but what we can do is to really plan ahead.
Let's talk about Basel a bit.
Sorry?
Let's talk about Basel a bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys all received the news, right? So
Yeah, so it seems like Basel is more or less dead.
yeah, I think Patek and Rolex is the last straw that breaks the camel's back. basically that's it lah. So when I received the news, to me personally, I'm quite sad. I'm quite sad that this has to happen. But the writing is actually on the wall for the last couple of years. For the last couple of buzzword, no, the buzzword for the last previous buzzword is not the same buzzword as what we experienced, I say, 10 years ago. You know, buzzword back then in the 1990s, 2000, 1990s, you know, is a go-to event, you know. It's like when January comes, I'll be asking you, hey, Alvin, are you going buzzword? You know, it's a go-to event, you know. It's a time where people will, okay, anticipate new product, meet with the watchmaker, the brands, you know, meet with friends. You know, it was a very conducive environment. But over the years, you know, with the invention of iPhone, you know, looking at what you're doing in buzzword. So before, in the past, yeah, for me to look at novelty product, I have to fly all the way there. But now it's I go, you go, but you don't go, you can still know what's going on in buzzword. So the world has changed, but I think buzzword has not changed. That is the problem. So they have no, they are doing the same thing year after year, year after year, year after year. Basically, it's a very B2B kind of engagement.
Yeah,
I think,
you were an exhibitor there, right?
yeah, I used to exhibit there for a couple of years.
What was your experience?
Uh, it's a very, very expensive audio. And
Ordeal.
the yeah, it's a very expensive audio. And I think the organizer, the MCH, right? MCH, yeah. They are not the friendliest person around. So basically it's all one-sided. It's one-sided, it's like it's because God says, it has to be like this, you know. You know, it has to conform to a certain look, you know, you have to spend a certain amount of money, you know, you have to do this, you know, it has to be like this, you know, and hence the price is like this. Once you know, okay, okay.
A lot of brands as well, you're complaining about the prices and
Uh, I do not know whether is is it right to say whether they got what they deserve or not, but they should have, if they are sensitive enough or they are more accommodating, they should have known that this is going to happen. Okay, so but unfortunately, I think maybe they are still living seriously. You know, I think in their mind they will never expect Patek Philippe and Rolex to say, "Okay, guys, I'm going to go. You know, good luck to you guys." So I don't think they ever think that this day will come.
In a way,
So
in a way, the smaller brands rely on Patek and Rolex also
mm, that's
because
why.
they can't see Rolex and Patek, and then they will see the other brands. So the smaller brands will suffer as a result because how are they going to show their watches to a bigger audience at Baselworld? I mean, they can't do that anymore because we are not going to travel to Baselworld if not for these big brands. So I don't know why. What is your take on that?
Exactly. That's why when you first asked me about Basel is like my first response when I first read the news, like my first response was like, if response is sadness. So because if without Basel, like what you mentioned correctly, is what happened to all these small brands, you know, small independent brands or brand or a medium-sized brand, like like Oris, Ball, for example, Ball has Ball for last couple of years. Maurice Lacroix, you know, they are big brands, but yet they are not as big as Rolex, but they are big. They are reasonably big brands. So where will all these brands go? You know, so if Buzzword goes, there's no more Buzzword, then we are all left to our own devices, right? So what I foresee is, come 2021, many brands will try to form alliances. Okay, okay, if you are my friend, you're not my friend, okay, let's form together. I like you, you don't like me. There will be a lot of all these things forming of alliances and trying to create their own shows, which is a problem for people like you guys are journalists, because if everybody is trying to do your own thing, so it's going to be firstly very difficult to plan your time, and it's very difficult to commute between different exhibition venues, right? Firstly, if you experience Basel World, I believe you have many times. Even from one brand to another, you got to rush from one brand to another place, trying to find the location, the booth. Now that if everybody is in Geneva, and Geneva is a relatively new place for many players, you could be trying to get to the location and couldn't find it. you end up calling your guys, hey, where are you actually? Oh, I'm in room 415, which level? By then it's gone already. And you have one guy in the east, one guy in the west. So what are you going to do? So, and don't be too happy that and Geneva is going to be cheap. So if everybody is lamenting that Basel, you're just going to sell, they sold me a sausage for 8 francs. Wait until you go to Basel, you wait until you go to Geneva, and you know how much you're going to sell the sausage for. So the sausage stand, the guy is going to say, finally, this is my time has come.
So really, everybody's at the mercy of commerce, right?
Sorry?
I mean, everybody LL, so you just.
I think it's just bad news for everyone. It's just bad news for everyone, It's everybody trying to do their own thing, and that's no good because it creates, the industry just become more fragmented. Instead of coming together as a collective body, now people are trying to do their own things. And if you were to try to do your own things, inevitably, the cost is not going to be cheap. So, and I do foresee small brands having difficulty in getting a proper place.
You mentioned earlier that we all have watches on social media now, right? And we've got a question from Cecil, and he says social media is basically the new Basel world, and it's kind of made watch fairs irrelevant. So, do you agree with that?
Not really, because without watch fairs, then where the bloggers go to, they cannot be blogging in their own big room, right? They have to blog somewhere. They have to look at the products. There must be a stage for them where they can go to and take a look at the products and broadcast to the whole world, right? So I think exhibition has its place. Exhibition is still important, but I think the scale of the exhibition is a question mark. Do you really need $1 million booth to tell a story? Or do you only need an intimate place where you can engage not only the consumers but your B2B, your B2B and your media? I think what Buzzword fails in this aspect is it didn't cater to B2C. It has always been a B2B kind of a platform, which my work in the 90s, but now everybody want to be engaged. It's a community. They didn't realize that the customers are actually ultimately the people that will buy the watch. The C is the very important people. The media is a very important group of people. So Buzzword, if you go Buzzword, if you are not invited, you have to pay 60 Swiss francs to enter the exhibition booth for one day. Who is going to pay 60 Swiss francs to look at watches which you can't even touch? So if you have a family of 4, you're going to spend like 240 Swiss francs. That's a lot of money to enter an exhibition booth. So, but why would they do that? There's no need to charge 60 Swiss francs. So if they were to be more open, they should welcome more customers to come and enjoy the show, to make it a more engaging experience.
So James asked about organizing a fair in Singapore. Is it feasible?
That'd be interesting. Then, but I do foresee a lot of challenges because then instead of that means instead of the Swiss doing their things in the backyard, so now they have to, pack their bags and come to Singapore. I do not know whether it's feasible, but I did briefly heard that it actually happened one time in the 70s, I think. I couldn't verify this fact, but my Swiss guys told me there was a Basel in Singapore one time during the 70s. So I have to verify with him again. I don't know whether that's true. But I think to do a peripheral show in Singapore is a good option. But I think to preserve the Swiss tradition of making watches, I still think that having an exhibition in Switzerland is only the logical thing to do.
I guess maybe the one in Singapore might be tailored especially for Asian watchmakers, Asian brands. Maybe that would work. And instead of doing one or two major shows in Switzerland every year, brands could start taking their products regionally and have regional fairs instead. Maybe that would make more sense for them.
I think you're right, because it's like there are generally two worlds, right? The Asian watchmaking and the Switzerland watchmaking. So Asian watchmaking is pretty big as well. We have Seiko, we have Citizen, and we have the Chinese making watches as well. So the Chinese makes interesting watches. Seiko makes very interesting watches, especially now that everybody wants a Seiko. I don't know why, but they have always made nice watches. So yeah, I think Singapore is actually a good platform for Asian brands to showcase themselves. Why do we want to go to Switzerland to showcase to our product when we have a pretty big market in Asia as well, So yeah, I think whatever that you have suggested, exhibition in Singapore showcasing Asian brands is something that we should be thinking about.
A lot of watch brands say that Singapore is quite a mature market. Our customers are very sophisticated. Do you think that actually that might be working against us? Because it feels like everybody has seen and known everything, and they might not have the appetite to be a bit more adventurous. They just stick to what they know because they think they already know best.
No, I think you are right to say that there's a lot of collectors in Singapore that is highly sophisticated, pretty mature in the watch collection arena. So you're absolutely right. But let's not forget there are always new players. There are new entrants, new collectors. A person that was 18 years old 10 years ago now is 28 years old. So these are the people that are the new players. They want to experience the world of horologery. We have to cater to these people as well, because this market is ever growing. While we still have that's very sophisticated group of customer, we also have a customer base, the big group of people that's appreciating watches, and they are growing, and their age group is getting younger and younger. So we have to create a product. We have to have products that cater to these guys. And these guys, when now they are 18, now they are 20, but there'll come a time when they will be 30 years old, right? So if you bring them early to this beautiful world of watches, I believe that they will be in this watch game for a long, long time. So we have to inculcate them, intoxicate them, at a very young age, as young as possible. So we have to embrace all range of products to cater to a mass market, especially in Singapore. People are also getting sophisticated. More people want to collect watches and want to collect more than one watches. So
in a market where people like to buy their Rolex and their Patek and their Tudor, right? How does a brand like you fight for your space, especially in terms of retail?
That's why I'm glad that from the onset we have this philosophy that we abide strictly to, which is to really create a unique product. I cannot imagine where I will be 16 years from now if I were to just create a Me Too product. You're right in saying that. How do I ever compete with the traditional big brands? You will never be able to compete. The only way that you can compete is to produce a watch that looks the same but at a fraction of a price. But that's boring, right? That is not watchmaking, right? That's just a commercial deal. You make something that people want and you sell it at a lower price, you undercut each other, and you have lots of the same product in the market. So from onset, we wanted to create something special, something that is different and something that speaks to you. So that's the reason why I believe that even up to today, we have a small market share of people who actually believe in Azimuth watches. And most of our customers that do own an Azimuth watch has many Azimuth watches. Generally, a Azimuth customer will own at least 5 Azimuth watch, and that's pretty normal. And we have watch savants that has over 20 Azimuth watches on top of their Patek Philips, Royal Oaks, and many other independent watch brands. So we are happy to say that we have a group of hardcore followers that get excited about products every time we have a new offering. Yeah.
Speaking of, we have a question from Carrie, and she's asking, how do you establish a community for your customers? How do you connect and manage your relationship with them?
Okay. You asked a very good question because this is something that we are very weak in. Okay, because our focus, we are over focused in product creation, that sometimes we neglect in the communication aspect of our brand. That's why I think this lockdown has this 1 month of lockdown is actually very good for my brand and for myself, because I really took time to reflect on what I've done for the past 16 years. Like what are the things that I've done correctly, what are the things that could have been done, and what are the things that I have to do after this. So you ask a very valid question, is how do we establish communication, and how do we create relationship with the customer? So sad to say, we didn't really do it well, so I think what we're gonna do and we should do is to communicate with our collectors more on the social media platform, more of you guys. There's more talks like this, to engage you, to showcase watches, our past collection, and what we intend to do in the future. A lot of people don't know what we want to do in the future, and what the brands represents. It's important to let the customer know that, okay, what Azimuth represents, because when I speak to my customer, one thing I realize is that they always tell me the same thing. Hey, Chris, your watch, your picture doesn't do justice to your watch. When I get to touch the watch, when I get to talk to you, I begin to realize, hey, this watch looks different. Looks very different from the picture. So I'll say, oh yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. But actually, it's no good, because it means that I fail to communicate the brand effectively, in the social media space, in the cyber world. It's only when you get a chance to actually touch and hold an Azimuth will you realize that, hey, this is value. This is something that is different from what other brands has to offer. This is something that speaks to me. It's only when you touch Azimuth watch will you get the emotional connection with the brand. That's why we have so many collectors who has more than one Azimuth watch. Many of them has 4 or 5. A couple of them have more than 20 Azimuth watches. They can form a museum already, these guys. So I have to after this whole episode, this pandemic, I'm gonna revamp the brand to be more engaging with not only my current customer. I'm quite engaged with my current customer, but I need to share my brands, my views, my creation with a new group of customers. And I think this is something that I want to do after this whole episode.
So this is a question. This is a question that David asked quite earlier on in the comments, asking whether there's a chance for new Bombardier or not. Bombardier is one of your oldest creations. So do you think you want to revive that?
No chance.
Why?
Those people that actually own Bombardier 1 right up to 6, I'll say congratulations to you, because this will be our last of the Bombardiers. While I mentioned earlier in the conversations that while we love our vintage watches, our vintage movement, we do still have a lot of vintage movement in our safe. So, but that's not our design philosophy. Over the years, we realized that what differentiates us from other brands is really our unique design. You know, we stay true to our DNA, our core design philosophy, and this has brought us to this stage. And we will continue to grow on this. We'll continue to develop products that is in line with this DNA. You know, I share with you a story. You know, when in 2010, I think we had some success. You know, we gain momentum. You know, our brand gains recognition and more visibility. You know, in short, we make some money. Okay, so back then we make some money. Is still our next thought is, okay, how do we expand our customer base? How do we grow this our community, and how do we grow our SKU? So we had a survey, we had conversation with customers. You know, we gather feedback. Then a lot of people say, hey, now you must open up, you must cater to the masses. You know, you must make watches that has more mass appeal. Well, you keep making watches that only a few people appreciate. So we say, yeah, you're right, you're right. You know, to gain market share, you know, you have to have more SKU. You got to have to make a product that the consumer wants. They say, yeah, right, okay, let's do it. So hence we created a series called the Extreme One. Okay, don't get me wrong, this Extreme One, we love it. No, because we are watch collectors, we love watches, we love sports watch, we love diving watches. But we succumb to consumer pressures, we succumb to market demands. And we say, hey, okay, this is the direction we should go. We have to increase our customer base, we have to grow, the company has to grow, blah blah blah. So yes, let's do it. So this Extreme One is a series of diving watches. You know, that personally I love it. You know, it's a daily, even up to now, it's a daily watch for many of our customers. You know, but there is a problem. There's a problem because it doesn't fall within our belief. You know, in our heart, no, this is not what we want for Azimuth. No, we want something that is unique, something that is avant-garde. No, but this one fall out of place with what we are doing. But nevertheless, we succumb to market pressures. We say, okay, let's do it. So we even spent so much money trying to do an Extreme One event. I don't know whether you recall. In 2011, I think I rented a space in front of Neon City, you know, the place where they have this Subaru challenge. So it was a big place, you know, a big hoo-ha, extreme challenge. We get those people, the rock climbers, to hang on the wall, cliffhanger, to see who can last hanging on the wall the longest and get $10,000 prize. You know, we book that place, we spend a lot of money. You know, we get sponsors, we have fun fair. You know, we get a Lamborghini, the Lamborghini guys to put their cars there to display all the shebang for like 8 hours, and I spent like 90,000 on a 9 hour event. And after that, okay, thank you very much, guys. You know, and don't forget to come back to collect your things during midnight. The car is going to be towed away at midnight. Oh, okay, okay. So we spent 90,000 doing all these things, and what do we have? And after that, the customers say, hey, why do you create the Extreme One? You know, doesn't speak to me, man. Doesn't speak to me. So as I say, hey, but you guys are the one that say, hey, let's create something, increase market share so that you can have a bigger product offering. So we learn a lesson through the hard way, you know. What is a nice watch, you know, it's really a nice watch and it's something that I'll wear, you know, as a daily watch. But I want to stay true to what I want to create, you know. And Azimuth, I'm happy to say that at this moment we are very focused, we are realigned, you know, we are realigned, you know, to create watches that is fun. Okay, it has to be fun, it has to be unique, and it's something that actually stirs your emotion. So as long as it tickles my heart, you know, okay, I know that, okay, this is the watch that I think I want to make into an Azimuth. Yeah.
I think you made it very sad when he said you're not doing any more bombardiers. He said he's not going to.
Right. No problem. We'll try to find some Bombardier 1 to 6 in the second-hand market. No? Second-hand. So they are mostly there. So
By the way, Wendy has one, in case you're wondering.
Wendy was Wendy. Okay.
Yeah, she was telling us that she has a Bombardier 1.
Oh, okay.
Well done. Hang on to it, Wendy.
Yes, hang on to it, Wendy. It has a vintage movement, so it's pretty rare. Yeah, when we first started this company, vintage movement is not that hard to come by, because a lot of people back then didn't appreciate vintage watches, vintage movements. So we bought lock, stock, and barrel of vintage movement and collect them. And over the years, we create Bombardier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right up to 6. And by Bombardier 6, the majority of our vintage movement were expanded. So yeah, you own one of those rare creation from Azimuth.
Great. Okay, so final question for tonight. Well, we want to end this on a positive note and not dwell too much on the pandemic and what's going on around. So, could you tell us briefly what can we expect from Azimuth ahead, and what kind of watches and ideas do you have lined up?
Okay, actually, I created 2 new releases for this year, 2020. But looking at the situation and how time passed, time just, time stood still, but time flies. I don't know why. So now we are in May. What happened to Jan, Feb, April? Where are they? They are gone. So now we are almost half year into 2020. So and looking at the market situation, instead of launching 2 products, I just gonna tell you that I'm gonna launch one this year in 2020, and it's gonna be a very interesting product. Simple product actually, but interesting to me because, as you know, at the back you can see some Astro Boy, right? I'm a super fan of Astro Boy, and this Astro Boy is gonna celebrate his 70 years old next year. Don't see him cute and young, but he's a 70-year-old man. But I'm gonna celebrate his birthday, so I'm gonna create a limited edition of 70 pieces of Astro Boy watches with Tezuka, the owner of Astro Boy. So I'm gonna release it at 3rd quarter of this year. So right in time to celebrate his 70th anniversary next year. So do look out for it. Astro Boy fans out there, check it out because it's gonna only be 70 pieces in the world. Right? We created 50 pieces like last year. It was launched a couple of months ago and it was sold out immediately. So there are people who are still looking for the Astro Boys. Hey, can you tell me where to find the Astro Boy? So these Astro Boy are all in Thailand because our Thai distributor is to them all. The majority is in Thailand. So the only way you can find an Astro Boy, the old Astro Boy, is to find them in the secondary market. So look out for the 70 pieces. So I believe that it's going to be interesting and hot, right? Come 2021, so that's what is keeping me very busy now during the lockdown. So at this moment, I'm designing a 2021 watch. I think somebody early on asked this question, right? So are you going to create a new lampshade? So that's all I'm going to say. Something that is has a real Azimuth juice in it. The DNA of Azimuth is very evident in the product come 2021. So do look out for it. That's all I can say. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much for chatting with us tonight, Chris.
Thank you, Alvin. So I'll leave you guys in good. Okay, good night. See you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for dropping by.
That was Chris from Azimuth. Yeah. Thank you. See you guys next week.
See
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.